y'all? It is Crafty Hope here, and welcome to another junk journal spread from me. I'm working in this little handmade junk journal. I tried to show you there that it had split along where it was folded, and that's just because the paper had gone through some stuff. It was a vintage piece of book page that I had eco printed, and then in tying the signature together it apparently had ripped. So I'm just using a little washi tape. I think that's some of the Tim Holtz decor tape or decorative. I can't ever remember what he calls it, but it's like washi tape. It's a paper tape. And I just used that to go down that middle seam, and then added a couple little other pieces across the spread to kind of make it a little more cohesive. And from there, I pulled out these really ugly 80s, 90s scrapbook letter and number stickers. They were in a big haul of stickers I got from my October thrifty haul. And since the October theme for the Ugly Art Club was stickers, I decided to go ahead and try to work these in because I did make this spread in October, despite it being toward the end of November now. Sorry about that. Um, in addition to using those, just the stickers, I really wanted to also use the sticker waste, which is, that backing part there that often gets thrown away because it makes a great texture. So I'm putting that down. You saw I pulled that up from that one piece and am just kind of sticking it down in a couple different places. And again, some more of the stickers. I'm grabbing the numbers. I think I'm going to grab some of the numbers here and also stick them down. So, and I really don't like the colors that are in there. They're too bright. They're too, I don't know, all over the place. They didn't feel very cohesive. So, we're going to fix that here in just a second. So, I've got some letters down, some numbers down. They're all stuck down because they're stickers. But I'm going to grab gesso. This is just Liquitex Basics white gesso. I think that's, and yeah, and I'm just putting it down on a piece of paper and grabbing a paintbrush eventually. I am sorry, this video is one of the longer ones. I go through quite a few different little things on this. Apparently did not have enough gesso. All right, so I'm going over the stickers with the gesso to kind of just get all those colors to blend in, push them back a little bit so they don't have as much, they don't draw the eye near as much because I really just want them for texture. So, as you see, I'm just going over all of them with a little bit of gesso or a lot of gesso, whatever. Just getting them to be part of the background. Hold on, my cat is trying to. I've got the door closed while I'm recording here. My cat's trying to get out of the craft room. Hold on. Okay. So I've got that gesso down. And oh, I see there I wiped up some of the gesso off a couple of those numbers. We'll come back around. This is gonna be several layers of stuff going on here. So I'm adding a little bit of Amsterdam acrylic ink, and I think that is yellowish green in that ink. It could be the light olive. I'm not sure. It's so hard to tell once I do all this. And then some golden fluid acrylic and quinacridone nickel azo gold, which I love. I love the rusty color of that nickel azo. It's perfect. And that's going to help lead to some of the other choices I make in this because we're going to add some more rusty colored things. So I am just playing, that's a wet paintbrush, and I'm just using that to kind of smear some of the color around, trying to get some of it in the grooves of some of those stickers and the sticker waste. So I've got that. I think I'm going to dry this real quick because it's super wet. Yeah. And then come back with more gesso and just kind of blend that in. Now, my use of gesso here is definitely inspired from Lisa Goddard. She is the gesso queen, I feel like, because she's makes these beautiful layers and textures of things with gesso, and some of the things she just kind of puts in the background and adds. And I really love Lisa's style and her work, and so I'm emulating her here just a little bit. And I'll link to Lisa's YouTube channel so that you can check out some of her stuff. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm playing with all of that. Just I keep adding little bits of gesso here and there. I'm not going to make this too much of a whiteout because I think in a second I'm going to come in with a couple of things. Oh, first I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of collage. I think, was it my last video? I didn't even collage anything, y'all, which is so crazy for me. I absolutely love adding collage. This is actually a paper bag. I think it's from Hallmark. I've got a couple of them from when I get cards and stuff for people, and I always put them in these bags that have all these great like marks on them. And so I keep the bags to tear apart for stuff like this. And then that's the inside of a security envelope. It had some great lines. And so yeah, these are just things that should have gone in the trash, but I thought, nope, I like them too much. They're going to be art. So look at me making art out of trash. That's what I do. All right, so here I'm gonna add a little more color. I've got this Colorex crayon, which is kind of like, it's like a gelato. It's creamy, like a gelato or distress crayon. And then I also have a distress crayon in peacock feathers. And so I'm just putting those two colors down. I'm going to add a third distress crayon here in a little bit, which is going to be peeled paint. And that'll kind of help bring some of these, but I wanted a little touch of color in there. And that left page had the map on it, so it's got some of those blues and everything in it. So that's what I think I was trying to do here, was get some of those blues elsewhere on the page. But I'm using gesso once again to blend those colors in. And I'm doing this especially around the areas where I've got those stickers and that sticker waste. Again, trying to bring that texture in and also blend in those collage elements I added. I want them to kind of blend into the page a little bit more. So I'm adding this color and the gesso and all of that, hoping to get it all to kind of just meld and make this all very cohesive. So yeah, I've got those, and then I think I'm gonna come in here in just a second, like I said, with that Distress Crayon in peeled paint. That peeled paint one has seen some work lately because I used, or at least that color, I used a bunch of it in my, what was it? My Yumi 3 for October. I was really digging the peeled paint. So apparently that mossy kind of green color from Tim Holtz has been my jam. And so I'm doing the same thing here. I added that peeled paint in and just using the gesso again to kind of just blend it, make it blend and the gesso is still white, but it's got that green hint now. So what am I going to do next? Ooh, I think I'm going to do some mark making, maybe. No. All right, I'm grabbing this Daler Rowney acrylic ink, and I believe it is Payne's Gray. I think I thought when I got it out that it was black, but it's Payne's Gray, and it's one of those things I completely forgot I had this ink in Payne's Gray. For the longest time, I had wanted a Payne's Gray acrylic ink, and y'all, I guess I ordered it and then forgot I had it. I'm really disappointed myself about that. So I'm putting a little bit of that on the page. I also had this little butterfly. I think it's the Tim Holtz Botanicals that butterfly is in, and I put a little bit of the Payne's Gray on there to distress it a little bit, and then I put a little more. And I really hate that I put that second little bit on there because uh, it mars it just a little too much. It makes it a little too much, but it's still gonna be my focal. It's fine. I'm rolling with it. But anyway, I've got that Payne's Gray ink down there on the page. You can see that the gesso in some places is still wet because that Payne's Gray is getting kind of muddied. But this is picking up a lot of that texture that I've got. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of splatter to make sure I get that pop of dark from the Payne's Gray. And I'm going to dry this, kind of seal everything down with some heat. So I grabbed one of my hand carved stamps that it kind of looks like a tulipy botanical flower, and then some distress ink in distress oxide in Rusty Hinge. So like I said, I'm going to bring in some of those other rusty like elements in there, and this is one of the ways I'm doing that. And I think I went for the flowers because I've got that butterfly focal, and I mean, what goes better with butterflies than flowers? So I've got this going on. I'm just using that stamp to add some texture in there and give some depth to the page. And then I've grabbed my chunky pencil. I love this pencil. It's like a 1.3 millimeter. I don't tend to like thicker gauges of pens, but in this pencil, I love it. So I'm just making some little hash marks, not hash marks, tele marks, like, well, kind of like tele marks, and then blurring them a little with my finger on the page just to get, a little extra, more texture, more depth. All right, y'all, this looks almost like it could be cheesecloth, but it is a flour sack towel from the Dollar Tree. Um, they're not as nice as some of the other flour sack towels, but I like kind of the open weave of them because I don't know, it just has this really nice open weave. So I cut that down. I was having trouble tearing it, and but I wanted all the frayed edges all the way around to give, again, more texture. So I've got this little square, and then I grabbed a piece of rust dyed fabric. I don't even know what that fabric is from. Yeah, it's just some fabric that's been rust dyed. And so I've got that layered on there, and I went and got some black thread. That is some of the weave thread from the Dollar Tree from the hair care section. I really like it. And I am just doing some stitching marks, layering that flour sack towel and that rusty strip and attaching them with just some straight lines going up and down and side to side, not overlapping them, just to get it kind of like almost like some mark making, just a touch of more dark on there because that white is so white. I needed some dark in this little focal that I'm making. So yeah, I'm getting these marks down. I really need to add more of the stitching. I don't know. I've been loving the stitching, and my hands are itching to stitch. So I've got to do some more of that soon. Like I said, I did this, I guess, back in October. All right, so I'm tying this off real quick and trimming it. And then I'm going to, I don't think, yeah, I have to retie my knot and everything because I'm going to go over that left corner with this little piece of that same rusty fabric. And oh, my knot pulled straight through the paper, so I'm going to go ahead and tie it again, make it a little bit bigger. I think a couple times if I can get it, and pull it through the paper, and then stop. And then I pulled, of course, my needle, the thread out of my needle, so I've got to redo that. And I left this all in here because it was going to be real choppy if I tried to cut it up too much. So I'm going to go ahead and take some masking tape and just tape that corner there, make sure that knot stays in that paper, because even that map there is a vintage map from National Geographic that I had. I don't even know what I had done with it, but it ended up in this junk journal. So I'm just going to make a few more of these like sketchy stitches over there on that left side to kind of have that on both sides of the page. And then what am I going to do? I think I'm just going to stick down. I'm going to use my Uhu glue stick again and just stick down that that little stack of fabric that I've got over on the right side. And I'm using something as simple as that because this is really lightweight fabric. I'm not at all concerned that Uhu won't hold it. But what I am going to do is put the glue stick on the page and not on the fabric because I'd end up just sticking the fabric all together because that's what would happen to me. It's a true story. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just put some of that glue pretty thickly there, stick this down, stick my butterfly down, and then I grab my Stabilo and I'm gonna make a couple more of those like tally marks and wet them up with my wet paintbrush. So I'm gonna grab this little stub of a Stabilo, but I can't waste it because it's just so good. I've got a whole box of new ones, but can't waste this one. So I'm put that down. Like I said, I'm just gonna take a paintbrush and just wet those just to get some dark on there. And I have grabbed these Big Chat stickers from Tim Holtz. So they're the single words, but they're like a larger font than his usual stickers. And that says Wander. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.